Let the record reflect that we are outside the presence of the jurors, and as the court comes to order, the court will note that the state requested a hearing outside the presence of the jury before the next witness. Mr. Snipes told me at the side of the bench this was in the nature of a re-urging of a motion to admit certain evidence pursuant to Rule 404B. Mr. Snipes? Ms. Yates?
Your Honor, the state wishes to re-urge its pre-trial 404B motion. We are asking the court to admit the evidence related to the Arredondo Cuevas incident that occurred on earlier in the month of April, within 2 weeks of the incident in the case in chief. Our position is, Your Honor, that this evidence, extraneous offense evidence, must be relevant to a non-propensity issue. It must be relevant to a material issue in the case. We believe that the Arredondo Cuevas incident is relevant to a material issue in the case. I believe the first thing to bring to the court's attention is that extraneous offense evidence can be admitted based on relevance to the defendant's general theory of the case. And I think this came out yesterday, Your Honor, in the cross of Officer Gross. I'm not even reaching the issue of defense of a third party yet or statutory justification. I'm talking about the general theory of the case. And I think that Mr. Everette, yesterday in the cross of Officer Gross, went into the issues of appropriate use of a weapon to defend in a situation where a person is looking ahead, they're looking at what might be a danger, they're analyzing a situation, all involving use of a weapon. The person's determining what appropriate action should be taken in response. This all goes to intent, Your Honor. Mr. Everette questioned specifically Officer Gross about the prudence of retrieving the rifle from the car, the prudence of placing a gun in low-ready position. He questioned the witness about the time it takes to raise the weapon. He questioned about the circumstances surrounding use of a weapon and the prudence based on the positioning of the weapon, when to have it in low-ready position and when to point it. I believe all of this is relevant and makes the Arredondo incident material, relevant to intent, which leads us ultimately to relevant to reasonableness of the ultimate acts taken. The word prudence was used a number of times. The state agrees that prudence is an issue here, judgment is an issue here, analysis of the situation that you're approaching. If you're an individual approaching a vehicle, you're looking for the danger ahead, you are exercising judgment and prudence, that all goes to intent, Your Honor. I believe the specific questioning on prudence of the position of the gun in low ready comes from the door to the Arredondo Cuevas incident, Your Honor. And on this...
How so? If you could please tell me, just how so?
Because ultimately the state has to prove the intent that goes to the shooting. And so Mr. Everette went step by step through the evidence that leads to the shooting. The Arredondo incident has very similar and parallel facts. It's about the defendant approaching the car, the defendant assessing the danger of the situation in that car, the defendant electing to take certain actions to defend himself or to defend the person next to him. In the Arredondo incident, Your Honor, the defendant gave 2 explanations of the scene for having displayed his weapon and pointed it at the women in the car. He said he believed they were trying to leave the scene, and he said he believed they were reaching for something. He altered that justification the next day, and he said, I was in fear that she was trying to strike me with her vehicle. Very similar to turning his head to Officer Gross and saying, I thought they were going to hit you in the car. There's parallels between these 2 incidents, Your Honor, and we believe that goes to the material issue of intent. I think the De La Paz case, Your Honor, is really on point with this ability for the state to put an extraneous offense to rebut the general theory of the case. So if Your Honor is worried at all that defense did not make an opening statement, they didn't specifically put before this court defense of a third person or self-defense, I think the De La Paz case and the general theory of the case shows still that the Arredondo Cuevas incident is relevant material.
Thank you.
Then, Your Honor,
Sorry.
my next point is that the cross-examination of Gross and the omission of the body cams does specifically raise defense of the third person. Your Honor can see from the body cams that Mr. Oliver's first words were, I thought he was going to hit me with the vehicle. And during the cross-examination of Officer Rose, Mr. Brissett went specifically into discussions of that the second officer who was behind had a duty to protect the first officer, that Oliver was protecting Rose, that it was Oliver's job to protect Rose, and there was no one there to protect Oliver. I think that would specifically raise the defense of the person wrong.
Okay, let's say I don't disagree with you on that. How would what happened in the Arredondo Cuevas incident have any bearing on whether he was reasonable that night when he was coming up behind the other officer?
The jury will be given the job of determining the reasonableness of that explanation. His credibility is an issue in the explanation he gave. He turned his head and said, I thought they were in the vehicle. The jury has to determine the reasonableness of that defense of a third person. Less than 2 weeks prior, the defendant provided an extremely similar justification. I thought they were going to hit you with the car, goes to Gross. The day after the Arredondo incident, he said, I thought she was going to strike me with the car. The state's position would be, Your Honor, that that first instance of giving that justification was not credible. And I think the jury would be put in the position of hearing the evidence of what he said that day, what he said the next day. It's in those body cams, Your Honor, and it's in that in-car video on the Arredondo Cuevas incident that he gave explanations multiple times of why he did it. Upon time to reflect the next day, he altered his justification. He said, I thought she was going to strike me with the car. My position is that's not credible, and on the reasonableness issue of self-defense, the state needs this evidence, this important evidence, for the jury to judge his credibility. Then, Your Honor, I think generally my third argument would be that the Arredondo Cuevas incident goes to motive, intent, knowledge, and state of mind. Thus far from what we've heard in the record, as far as the list under 404B, I think that list might be expanded depending on what else we hear in the future. I believe...
I'm sorry, that's a puzzling statement to me.
I'm sorry?
That's a puzzling statement to me, based on what we might hear in the future. Where? Here in this trial?
Oh, yes, yes. So that now I can argue that the Arredondo Cuevas incident is relevant to motive, intent, knowledge, or state of mind. I don't know if we might hear something else, Judge, that would go to accident or lack of accident or something else on the list in 404B.
I see.
I think I'm trying to point out to the court, too, that if the court, when the court were to give a limiting instruction to charge, we would, of course, want that to reflect however that evidence was used.
Yes, ma'am.
As a fourth point, I do believe, one more thing, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
I do believe specifically that Mr. Brissett yesterday on the cross of Oliver Gross went into the issue of furtive movements.
Right.
He specifically asked the witness, what furtive movements did he see? And the witness said none. He then went on to discuss furtive movements, to discuss that they have to be addressed with caution. When a person is approaching a vehicle, they see a person making furtive movements. He mentioned a traffic stop. He talked about reaching under a seat and floorboard. He talked about conditions where furtive movements take place. He gave an example of a person, his wife, reaching for a purse. Your Honor, the state does not believe that this has much to do with this case in chief, because there's been no evidence that either of these officers could see furtive movements in that car. I believe that was cross-examination that goes directly to the Arredondo Cuevas incident, and I think that opens the door for the admission of that incident. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gill or Mr. Brissett, you wish to reply?
I need to respond at this time, Judge. We talked about this a little bit the other day. I haven't had a chance to look at this issue since then. I didn't know we were taking it up now. I can address it a little bit now if the court is going to make a ruling at this point, but it's still premature. We haven't raised anything. Mr. Brissett's questions yesterday that she continually refers to, as being grounds for admitting this evidence were hypotheticals. And that's all they were. And hypothetical questions don't raise rebuttal evidence. And then she wants to admit it to attack Mr. Oliver's credibility. And she cites the fact that the state introduced some body cam video with a statement of his on as being the reason they wanted to impeach his credibility. They offered that evidence. We objected to it, and they offered it. And it came in through their admission. And now they want to impeach him, a man who hasn't testified, with evidence that they offered, because of evidence they offered. And that it's inadmissible for that reason. It's nothing but character conformity evidence. And we object to it for all of those reasons. And because we haven't had a chance to develop any further objections to it.
Well, all right. At this time, I'm going to deny your request to introduce extraneous conduct. At this time, I'll take the matter under advisement, and I may hear it again. I would suggest, Mr. Gill and Mr. Brissett, that they're probably going to offer this again. Be ready for another hearing at some point.
I'll be ready on it Monday, Judge.
All right. Mr. Snipes, do you have another witness? All right. Call your next witness, please. And before I leave that, Mr. Snipes, Montgomery tells me to look at the length of time needed to develop the testimony. What you're offering would be more or less what you offered outside the presence of the jury, as far as the extraneous evidence that you seek to introduce.
That's why I put it on, so you know what it was.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Mr. Brissett.
Judge, before we continue, the motions of limine that we've raised in writing and orally in the court haven't already included extra extraneous offenses. Counsel for the state went in with the last witness about people who could have been shot or killed in the parking lot of the nursing home. Those aren't listed on any of the extraneous notices I've been given of other acts of aggravated assault or attempted murder. I'd ask the state approach the bench before they go into anything else like that going forward.
It's part of the res gestae, is it not?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're objecting.
They may be res gestae, but they're not named individuals, and we're supposed to have notice of the potential crimes the state thinks we should have. They haven't given us notice of that, Judge.
I respectfully disagree with that. So I'm going to deny your request to have the state list this out in any extraneous matter. Is this your next witness?
Yes, sir.
Sir, if you would please come to the front of the courtroom.
Maxwell Everette.
Hi, if you would please come to the front of the courtroom. I'm going to swear you in just a moment. You need this outside the presence? Or inside? Yeah, that's good. Go ahead and call the sheriff. Sir, Mr. Everett, is that right? All right. We're going to bring the jurors in. When they come in, just stand up. Otherwise, you can have a seat for right now. Thank you, Sheriff. You all may be seated. Sir, before you have a seat, could you please raise your right hand? You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth. Yes, sir. Go ahead and have a seat. Be responding to questions from Mr. Snipes and perhaps also Mr. Gill or Mr. Brissett to your left. Sir, you may proceed.
Thank you.
Please state your name and spell your first and last name.
Maxwell Everette, MAXWELLEVERETTE.
Do you have a twin brother?
Yes, sir.
What's his name?
Maximus Everette.
And do you know Jordan Everett?
Yes, sir.
Do you know Vidal Allen?
Yes, sir.
Kavon Everett?
Yes, sir.
You know all those guys?
Yes, sir.
Y'all grew up together, right?
Yes, sir.
Who's this?
Jordan Everett.
Say still born here. How old are you?
17.
Where did you go to school?
Mesquite. High.
Did you go to school with Kavon and Vidal? All
Yes, sir.
those guys? You did?
Yeah, I did.
What year are you going to be in this year?
12th grade this year.
You plan on going to college?
Yes, sir.
Where do you want to go?
Either UNT or somewhere else, like Houston or something like that. I'm not sure though.
All right. So tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, just briefly by way of background, how it is that you know Vidal Allen, Kavon Edwards, and Jordan Everett.
Okay. I moved to Mesquite and like going to the 7th grade, and I was playing football with Kevon, and that's how I met Vidal and Jordan. Like they his brothers, and I'm really closer with Kevon, but like since they his brothers, like I know them too. So that's how I met them.
You ever been over to their house?
Yes, sir.
They've been to your house?
Yes, sir.
All buddies?
Mm-hmm.
Say yes or no. Don't say yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Did you go to a party on Barron Drive on the night of April 29, 2017?
Yes, sir.
And how did you find out about that party?
It was like a flyer on Instagram, something like that, and people was telling me about it too.
Flyer on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
Called Party Next Door.
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
So did you decide to go to the party?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you and Maximus talk about that?
Yes, sir.
And how was it, well, who did you ride over there with?
With Vidal and Jordan and Kevon.
Okay. How did that happen?
I had went to their house earlier that day to meet up with them, like talk about it, and then they said they was gonna pick me up before we went.
Did they do that?
Yes, sir.
What time was that?
Around 9 or something like that.
And that was Saturday night?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when they picked you up, where'd you go then?
After I got picked up, we had went to 5 Point, the like gas station by my house, and they had went there to get some like snacks, like some juice and I think Kevon got like some gum or something like that.
Did you guys have to go back so that Jordan could get some to improve his breath?
Yes, they had went back.
Okay. You know why that was?
No, sir.
So after you go on to get the snacks, what happened then?
We proceeded like going to the party.
You see that?
Yes.
Okay. You recognize that as being the area where you went to that party that night?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Specifically that yellow rectangle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For the record, that states Exhibit 6. And you recognize that building, that structure that's on the other side of Shepherd Road?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
I think it's the not community, senior home, I believe.
Nursing home?
Yes, yeah, senior, yeah, nursing home.
Okay. So, do you remember where you guys parked your car?
Yes, sir.
Where was that?
At like the end of this road, right here, the road of
Right
this
there at
house.
the intersection of Barron and Shepherd.
Okay, yes, sir.
So you parked your car and then
Went to the party.
okay. Tell the ladies and gentlemen about this party.
Like what?
What was it like?
Oh, it was like at first we went in there. It was like we didn't even know it was a party. Like it was like quiet. So then we went in there and it really wasn't that packed yet. It really wasn't nobody in there. So yeah, we had paid our money at the door and then we just went in.
How much money you paid?
$2 or $3. I'm not sure.
$2?
Yes, sir.
Tell the jury what happened once you went in there.
Nothing really. Like we was just like talking to people that was there, people that we knew was coming in, and
Like who?
my friend Roy, Cam, I believe. My friend Grant came too, and my other friend Alondre too. He came too.
Alondre Henderson.
Yes, sir.
That was another guy you grew up with.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, look at the jury now. What do you think?
Okay.
All right. Now, when you get to the party, okay, was there music going on?
Nah, it wasn't no music playing. It wasn't no music.
Was there eventually rap music going on?
Oh, yes, sir.
Tell the jury about that.
Yeah, it was rap music playing.
Okay. People dancing?
Oh, yes, sir.
Did it eventually get real crowded?
Oh, yeah, it got crowded.
Where were you during the party?
Like in the middle, kind of, because it was a bunch of people. Like, it really wasn't even dancing. It was like mosh pitting, like jumping and stuff.
Like a what?
Like mosh pitting. You know what that is? Like.
All right, so, Okay. A couple of times something different happened. In other words, the police come.
Yes, sir.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen jury about that.
I was in the backyard because it was so hot in the house. Like, it was like very hot. So I'm in the backyard, and I see the police lights coming from the front. So then I go back into the house, and I go out the front door.
You went out the front door.
Yes, sir.
When you were driving over to the party you were driving, when you were in the car going over to the party, where were you in the car?
Behind the driver.
Behind it all.
Yes, sir.
And is that where you were when you guys left the party?
Oh, yes, sir.
So when you get to the car, after you see the police in it, right, you decide to leave.
Yes, sir.
Who was in the car when you got there?
Vidal, Jordan, I believe it was, and my brother too, and yeah, that was it. Yeah,
Was Kavan in there?
yeah, he was in the car.
Okay. All right, you were sitting beside him.
Yes, sir.
And did something unusual happen once the five of you were in the car?
Yes.
Okay, tell the ladies and gentlemen jury about that.
From like, I guess like, you really couldn't tell where it was from, but like behind us, like it sounded like gunshots, but it sounded more like, I don't know, like, it sounded like a cap gun, like a very like weak gun, I guess. And then we had gotten in the car because like people started starting to like scatter and like run kind of stuff. Like I'm getting in the car, like making sure that I'm okay.
Ms. Wood has to give your...
Oh, okay, my fault.
So you heard what you thought sounded like gunshots?
Yes, sir.
All five of y'all were in the car when those shots were fired?
Yes, sir.
It couldn't possibly have been one of you five.
No, not at all.
What did y'all do whenever those shots were fired?
Like we had got like, once I got in the car, like we started like moving to like leave.
Okay. And which direction did you go initially trying to leave?
We had like went forward to like get into the middle of like the road, and then we backed up.
Why'd you back up?
Because like in front of the house, like where the party was at, like there was like police cars in front. So
you
like,
couldn't go that way?
Yes, sir.
When the dog was backing up the car, was he driving fast or slow?
No, he was driving very slow.
Did you see any police officers coming towards your car?
No, sir.
Did you ever see any police officers?
No, I didn't see none.
So you back up on the Shepherd, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you go forward.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell the ladies and gentlemen jury about that.
Okay, so then after we back up, then we start going forward. Like I see like a light on the window, but like I can't like tell what it was. It was like raining, so like the window was foggy. Like I can't see. So then like as we start going forward, like I hear stop the effing car, and then that's when
Slow down. Go ahead.
okay, then as we start moving forward, that's when I hear like stop the effing car. But like the car was like, I mean like I'm not driving, so like I can't control the car. So like when the car start going forward, like that's when I hear stop the effing cars, and then that's when like I heard the shots. Like after that, that's when they start like hitting the car.
Where'd you guys go after the shots were fired?
A street ahead, I believe.
Over to Bishop?
Yes, sir.
And what'd you do down there?
We was in shock, so like we stopped, and I had called my mom, and Vidal called his dad, and then I was telling my mom what happened, and then like it was another cop car coming, but it had passed us like going fast. So then we was like, should we go to the hospital or not? I was like, nah, like just stay here, cause like I don't want them to like think like we running from them, like nothing like that. So then we stayed there, but like we turned like back facing the road that we came from, like the main road.
Shepherd?
Yes, sir, like that road. We turned facing that road, and then that was when the cop came back down the road to come down.
Did y'all wave that police car over?
Yes, sir.
Why'd you do that?
Because like we knew Jordan needed help.
You knew Jordan needed help.
Yes, sir.
What happened then?
Then the cop had stopped behind us, and then Vidal was telling him like Jordan was like hurt.
Let's call the police officer, not a cop, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And then he was telling the police officer that Jordan was hurt, and then he was like, okay, like we're gonna get help for y'all. And then
When you say he was like, you the police officer
yes,
that's
sir.
down there?
Yes, sir.
Did he tell you to stick your hands out of the car?
Yes, sir.
Did you do that?
Yes, sir.
Eventually, did you get pulled out of that car?
Yes, sir.
You did that on your own volition.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you the first or the second person to come out of the car?
Second, I believe. Second.
After the driver?
Yes, sir.
And what were the instructions that were given to you?
Walk backwards with your hands up.
And so did you do that?
Yes, sir.
And were you placed on your knees?
Yes, sir.
And handcuffed?
Yes, sir.
Now, you were behind the dial Allen, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so your view of the officers and the shots would have been obscured by Kavan and by Maximus, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you didn't have that good of a view of the whole thing?
Yeah, no, sir. I have to.
You figured out that Jordan had been shot. How'd that make you feel?
I was shocked. Like I ain't know. Like at first, like since he had like bought that red drink from the store, I had thought that he spilled his drink, but like it wasn't. He didn't spill his drink. Like that's what I really thought. Like for real. So then once I seen that, like.
Are you going to be able to keep going, son? Okay. Jordan was a good friend of yours, wasn't he? Max? Right? Were you in fear of your life when those shots were fired, Maxwell? Can you answer my question, Maxwell?
Yes, sir. I was.
Pass the witness, Sean.
Members of the jury, we're going to take our last look at this. Please don't discuss what you've heard in court with anybody else, even among yourselves. Also, please don't do any independent research over the lunch break. We'll have you all please be back in the jury room. Well, I guess you're not going anywhere, but be ready to come back into court at 1 o'clock. All rise for the jurors. It's all right, Max.
And you're sure you noticed all those police officers up there and one of them shooting into the car?
Oh yeah. I seen him, but I thought you meant like as in like before we like started moving.
Okay.
I seen
Go
him.
back there. Did you see someone shoot into the car?
Yes, sir. Like at the last second, I looked up and the windows were up and it was tinted and it was like raining that day, so it was kind of hard to make it out. But I seen somebody aiming a gun and getting ready to shoot into the car, and that's when I ducked.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen about that. What did you see?
I seen somebody with like it looked like all black and he had a bald head, and I seen like
Yeah,
a
all dead.
yes, sir.
Okay. Tell them about that. What did you see?
Yeah, he had like a big gun, and then like the only thing I could do is like think to like duck to like protect myself.
Did you duck?
Yes, sir.
Did Jordan tell you to duck?
I didn't hear him say that.
But you ducked.
Yes, sir.
Did you see any reason why whoever it was that shot into that car should have shot at you guys?
No, sir.
Were you in fear for your life?
Yes, sir.
You scared to death?
Yes, sir.
And the testimony that you're giving here to this jury is based on what you saw that night, right?
Yes, sir.
Pass it with you.
Cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. And not long after this event happened, you were taken down for an interview with some Dallas County Sheriff's detectives, isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
And you sat in an interview room with them, and they asked you some questions, right?
Yes, sir.
And it was video recorded, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
And detectives were trying to figure out what happened, right?
Yes, sir.
And you were doing your best to try to fill them in and try to help them figure out what happened that night.
Yes, sir.
And one of them was talking to you about the fact that one of the officers had a long gun, isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
You told the detectives that night that you understood why he had that long gun. Isn't that right?
I don't recall.
You don't recall?
Yes.
You don't recall saying that?
Yes, sir.
Your testimony here today is that your vehicle was moving, and that's when the officer shot into the vehicle, correct?
Yes, sir.
You told them that night, shortly after this event occurred, that you were stopped, and that's when the cop shot into the car. Isn't that right?
I don't recall.
You don't recall. And when you arrived at the party that night, was it crowded already?
No, sir.
Wasn't hardly anybody there?
Yeah, it was only like 15 people.
We pass the witness.
No re-raise, Your Honor.
Very good. May this witness be finally permanently excused?
From the state, sir.
No,
So-
Your Honor.
I'm sorry? Subject to recall?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sir, you may stand down for right now. It's possible you may be recalled as a witness, so please don't talk about anything that you testified with anybody else.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Quincy White, Your Honor.
Mr. White? Quincy White? Hi.
Judge, may we approach?
Sure. Hang on just a second.
White, take directions from the judge.
Thank you. If you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth? Yes, sir. All right. I'll be answering questions from Mr. Snipes and perhaps also Mr. Gill and Brissette to your left. You may proceed when ready.
Make sure you speak into the microphone.
Yes, sir.
Speak clearly, so this young lady can hear you, and also the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Do that for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay? We just now did, okay? So let's be clear, okay? State your full name and spell your name for the record.
Quincy White, Quincy, White,
How old are you, sir?
18.
And are you in school still, or what's going on with you?
Yes, I'm still in school.
Okay. Where?
Mesquite Academy.
What grade are you in?
For be a senior.
Are you nervous?
No, I'm too.
Calm down. You're chill. All right. So, do you know Jordan Evans?
Yes, sir.
Is that him over there? That's Exhibit 1?
Yes, sir.
It is.
I see.
How do you know him?
Vidal.
Okay. Be more specific about that.
When I met Vidal, I met him in one of our football games.
Okay. Vidal being Vidal Allen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And talk to the jury, don't talk to me. All right. Vidal and Jordan were brothers, right?
Yes.
And did you guys all grow up together?
No.
But you're really good friends with, right?
Yes.
Do you know a girl named Jordan Patterson?
Yes.
You're really good friends with her?
Yes.
Do you remember the time that me and you were out at the scene of this alleged offense?
Yes.
And you remember that we ran into Jordan that day and y'all hugged? Remember that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. There was a party on Saturday night, April the 29th, 2017. Did you go to that party?
Yes.
How did you find out about it?
Instagram.
Instagram. What exactly is Instagram?
Like an app where you post pictures, like pictures, and just talk to your friends on and stuff.
So you met Vidal back in middle school, right?
Yes.
Do you know Maximus and Maxwell Everette?
Yes.
How do you know them?
Met him in middle school.
So you knew all 5 of the kids that were in that Chevrolet Impala that night, right?
Yes.
Do you know whether this party had a name on the Instagram?
I think it was Party Next Door. Like
Party next door? Okay. What time did you get to the party?
around like 9 o'clock.
Who did you go with?
My mama took me and I went with my homeboy Keelan.
Your homeboy, what? Keelan?
Keelan, yeah.
You know how it's spelled?
Kelen.
Kelen, okay. So did you know that Vidal Allen and Kevon Edwards and Jordan Edwards and the Everett twins were going to that party?
No.
And did you see them there?
Yes.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about that. How you seeing them there?
Yeah, I seen them. We was at the party having fun.
Did you have to pay a cover charge?
Yes.
How much?
$2.
Okay, tell me what was going on at that party.
There's a lot of dancing, people having fun, regular party, regular house party.
Was music being played?
Yes.
What kind of music?
There's rap music, a lot of rap music, dancing music.
And so you got there at about 9 o'clock. Anything unusual happened between 9 and 11 o'clock?
No.
Just having fun?
Yes.
Did the police eventually come?
Yes.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about that.
Well, me and Vidal was in the backyard, and Kevon was talking, and then everybody was like, the police here, so we left. We started jumping the fences, and then we went to Vidal's car, and then I got in, and then he told me to get out, because he didn't say it like that. He was like, my car full, so you got to call your mom.
So when you got into the car, was Maxwell Everette there yet?
No.
That's who took your place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So you get out of the car and then what'd you do?
I went to the front yard of the house.
Did you see the Chevrolet Impala backing up on Barron Drive?
Yes.
Describe that to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
He was backing up into the street, and then he backed up into like the left lane, and
Let
then
me stop you. Okay. Was the car going fast or slow?
slow.
Did you see some police officers out there?
Yes.
And that was after you saw the car backing up, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you saw as far as those police officers.
I seen Vidal backing up into the lane, and then when I got the phone with my mom, like as soon as I got the phone, I turned around and I seen officer point his gun to Vidal's car. Then I turned around and I started running.
Okay. Did you see one of the police officers running up to the intersection of Barron and Shepherd?
No, sir. I wasn't paying attention.
Did you see one of those officers raising his rifle?
Yes.
Describe that to the jury.
Like as soon as I hung up with my mom and I seen Vidal and them pull back up, I seen him like driving off, and then I just seen another officer come up with his gun, just hold it up like by hold up like with his gun, just shoot. I ain't see him shoot, but like as soon as I told him I hold it up, I turned around and just started running.
What kind of gun was it?
I didn't understand that.
All right. Could you repeat your answer, please?
Say what?
Can you repeat your answer, please?
Be
So that,
respectful to the judge who was quiet, okay?
My bad. I'm sorry.
just repeat your question and answer, okay? He didn't hear it. Go ahead, Mr. Snipes.
Describe to the jury what you saw by way of the officer going up to the corner of Shepherd and Barron.
I seen Vidal. He was backing out to the street, and then he moved to the right lane, and then I seen the cop pull the gun up like this, and then I turned around and I started running.
And the record could reflect you're saying that he was bringing the rifle up to a shoulder level, right?
Yes.
And was that before he even got to the intersection?
Yes.
Can you describe that police officer to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you can?
White dude, no hair.
Bald?
Yeah, bald. Yeah.
But you didn't see any of the shots.
No.
But you did see him go up to the intersection
Yes.
and raise the rifle.
Yes.
Did you hear the shots?
Yes.
What did you think had happened?
He had shot to the car.
Why do you say that?
Cause like as soon as I turned around, just like I heard like four or five shots just let off.
You heard 4 or 5 shots?
Mm-hmm.
Say yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. When did you find out that Jordan was dead?
Well, I got in the car with my mom when she picked me up, and my little well, I knew somebody got shot. I didn't say nothing, and my sister told me it was Jordan, but I didn't believe it. And I found out from one of my other homeboys when I got home.
Who actually told you?
Named Darius.
Darius?
Darius the base. Yeah.
D-A-R-I-U-S?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Everything that you testified to here today is based on what you saw that night, the night of April 29th?
Yes.
That's what.
Cross-examination?
Thank you, Your Honor. Did I hear you right if I heard you say that when the officer got to the intersection of Barron and Shepherd, he raised his rifle?
Yes.
Ask the witness.
All right, may this witness be finally excused.
Let's say this, sir.
Very good. Sir, you may stand down. Please watch your step. Please don't discuss your testimony with anybody else. What says the state?
All Jordan Patterson.
Hi, Ms. Patterson. If you would please come to the front of the courtroom. There's some steps. Be careful. Before you have a seat, could you please face me and raise your right hand? You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth.
Yes, sir.
Please have a seat. Be responding to questions from Mr. Snipes. Perhaps also either Mr. Gill or Mr. Brissett to your left. Okay?
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Snipes?
Patterson, could you please state your full name for the record, spell your first and last name?
Jordan, Jordan, Nicole Patterson, Patterson.
And when you're testifying today, can you look at the jury and tell them what's going on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I was recently out of your house, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you know Quincy White?
Yes, sir.
You just testified. How do you know him?
I go to school with him.
Where's that?
Mesquite High School, went to school with him. Yes, sir.
Have you graduated?
No, sir.
When you say went to school with him, what do you mean by that?
He graduated this year, I believe.
Are you going into senior year?
Yes, sir.
You're a pretty good student, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Plan on going to college?
Yes, sir.
Where do you want to go?
I plan to go to Eastfield for 2 years and then go off to college.
You knew Quincy White. You also know Alejandro Henderson.
Yes, sir.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how you know him.
I know Alondre. I went to school with Alondre. I still currently go to school with Alondre. We're very good friends since freshman year.
So you, Quincy, Alondre, all were good friends, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you know Jordan Everett?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 1. Is that Jordan?
Yes, sir.
You know his brothers, Kevon Edwards and Vidal Allen?
Yes, sir.
All you guys kind of grew up together, right?
No, sir. We didn't grow up together. I just go to school with them.
When did you meet those guys?
I met Jordan his freshman year, of course. I met Kevon this current past year, and I met Vidal this current past year.
Do you know if Jordan had a nickname?
Peanut.
Did you like Jordan?
Yes, sir.
Why?
He was very sweet and kind. He loved to laugh, and he always played. Even when we called him Peanut, he still laughed. He was very meaningful to me every day. I would see him at City Hall and right by my Spanish class, and we would hug and laugh and make jokes. He had a lot going for him. He was known for football.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this time. It's non-responsive.
Any objections sustained? Go ahead, Mr. Snipe.
There's some tissue there.
Thank you. Sorry.
Did you go to a party on April 29th, Saturday, April 29th, 2017?
Yes, sir.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how you found out about that.
I found out about the party on Instagram. There was a flyer, and a group called The Dogs had posted it. I went to high school with some of them. Some of them graduated, I believe. Everyone was posting about it, so that's how I knew. That's how I went.
Do you remember any of the names on the party flyer?
Yes, sir. I remember Bobby Smith, I believe Daniel Thomas, Denoris Rhodes, and someone named Zach, I believe. There was someone named Byron on the flyer.
Okay. And whose house was that party at?
Denoris Rhodes.
Over on Barron Drive in Ball Springs?
Yes, sir.
How did you get there?
I got there from my cousin. I'm sorry. I had to remember.
Who's your cousin?
Shamar.
Can you spell that?
Shamar. Shamar.
About what time did you get to the party, you know?
No, sir. I would say around 9 o'clock, maybe.
Did you know some of the people that were at the party?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell them who all you knew.
I knew multiple people. I knew the people that I just listed on the flyer. My play sister Elizabeth was there with me. She's who I came with. I knew my fellow students. I knew Aaliyah. I knew Grant Stewart. He was there. There's multiple people that I knew there at the
Did you
party.
see Jordan there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how Jordan was acting and so on.
Jordan was having fun. He was celebrating just like everybody else. He was being kind. Everyone was dancing. Everyone was laughing, singing to the music, and that's what Jordan was doing as well.
Did you see him trying to fight anybody or do anything mean?
No, sir.
That's not what he did.
No, sir, it's not.
You know a girl named Elizabeth Earnhardt?
Yes, sir.
Is that who you went to the party with?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you get to this party, did you have to pay a cover charge?
Yes, sir. It was $1.
$1 for girls, $2 for boys.
Yes, sir.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about the party. Was it crowded, not crowded? What was it?
Okay. The party was crowded, I would say. There was no alcohol. There was no drugs involved. The only thing in the party was teenagers and us dancing and laughing and having fun. Nothing else was involved.
Did you drink any alcohol that night?
No, sir.
Did you use any drugs?
No, sir.
Did you see anybody do it?
No, sir.
All right, so y'all were all having fun. About 11:06 p.m. Did something happen that changed all that?
Yes, sir.
What was that?
I would say across the street at the nursing home.
No, before that.
Before that, that's the police arrived. The police arrived, and everybody was like running out the house. Everybody was scared because of the police. And then after that, what really had made everything pop off was the shots fired across at the nursing home.
Did you hear anybody yelling 12, 12?
Yes, sir.
Did you know what that meant?
Yes, sir.
What does it mean?
That means the police are there.
Do you have any idea how 12 equates to the piece of police are there?
No, sir.
Okay, so the police come, did you leave?
No, sir.
No, you didn't leave?
No, sir. Not right after the police came, no.
And when did you leave?
I left after the police left, actually. There was a few cops there, but everything had died down by then, so I'd say I left about 11:50, maybe 12.
All right. Did you ever go out into the road on Barron Drive?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you see any police officers out there?
No, sir, I didn't.
Did you see the car that had Jordan Edwards, the doll, and all of them backing up down Barron Drive?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you see any police officers then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, explain to the jury what you meant when before you said you did not see any police officers.
Before, when I didn't see any police officers, that was afterwards. That was like, I had went in the middle of the street, but I had went the opposite way from where the gunshots were fired. I went the opposite way down Barron Drive, and that's when I didn't see any police officers. But I did see when the car was there, the cop cars were right there next to the car that Jordan Edwards was in.
And did you see police officers moving towards that car?
No, sir, not at the time.
Okay. When the car was backing up down the road, did you see any then?
Yes, sir, there was one cop car there.
Okay. And did you see anyone raising their rifle up as they were going to the intersection of Barron and Shepherd?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about that.
Whenever I was standing on the sidewalk of Barron Drive and the car that Jordan Edwards was in, they were right there. As I was standing there, I seen the police officer raising his rifle, and he went to the middle of the street. He was running and he was raising his rifle, I'm sorry.
Running and raising his rifle?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to step down with your permission.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead, Mr. Brissett. Mr. Gill.
Okay, that's where the party was. Keep your voice up so they can hear you. Where were you in the road when you saw someone raising their rifle up and running to that intersection?
I'd be about right here. Is this the nursing home?
Yes.
Right here. I'd be about right here in this area.
Okay. Did you see it very clearly?
Yes, sir.
You sure you saw him raise his rifle up and run at the same time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you didn't see the actual shots, right?
I did, sir.
You did? Explain that to the jury.
The first round of shots I did see, I was walking the opposite way down Barron Drive, and I had turned around to see the shots fired. After the shots were fired, I turned back around and walked the other way.
All right, ma'am, if you wouldn't mind having your seat. Thank you.
What did you do after you saw the shots fired?
After the shots were fired, I walked down the opposite way back to the house where the party was at.
How did you get home?
I got home by my cousin, Shamar.
What time was that?
I'd say about 11:50, 12.
How close were you to Jordan Edwards?
We were really good friends. I wouldn't say we were like brother and sister, but we were very close friends and classmates.
The testimony that you've given here today is based on what you saw on the night of April 29th.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely true.
Cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You met with the district attorney's office, I guess, First Assistant Snipes and Investigator Garrison came out to your house Memorial Day weekend of this year, May 31st, right somewhere around there. Do you recall that?
I can't tell you the exact date now, sir. I do not know.
Okay. And you were very helpful in providing some information to them about who was shooting across the street. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
And it's safe to say that those that are in your school, you might have recognized some faces or knew who some people were belonging to different associations or clubs or groups. Is that safe to say?
Yes, sir.
And did you come to find out the name of the group or the organization or the association that was shooting those guns in the air over at the nursing home?
Yes, sir.
And what's the name of that group?
Bang Bros.
Can you spell that for us?
BANKBROS.
Have you pronounced them or introduced them or talked about them before as Bank Brothers?
No, sir.
The Bank Bros, what are they?
They're a gang.
Are they a criminal street gang?
Yes, sir, that's what they're known as.
In what area of town do they operate in?
I would say around like the West Mesquite area.
First Assistant Snipes was able to show you as well the body-worn videos of the officers that night. Do you recall when he came out to your house, he got to show you that as well on a laptop?
Yes,
probably?
sir.
And you were able to, without saying the person's name, you were able to recognize some folks that were inside the party, at least one that belonged to the Bank Bros. Is that correct?
No, sir.
Do you recall an individual that you described to them with the last name of James, a male,
Yes, sir.
and you told them that he was part of that criminal street gang?
Yes, sir, he was.
And was he inside the party that night?
Yes, sir.
And you pointed out to First Assistant Snipes and Investigator Garrison that at a particular time on Officer Oliver's body-worn camera, you can be seen on the video. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Now, you said you ran backwards after the first set of shots is what your testimony was on direct. Do you recall that?
No, sir.
3-4 minutes ago, you said you ran back toward the party on the first set of shots.
Yes, I ran back to the party, but I looked behind me. I wasn't running backwards.
Okay, fair enough. My question doesn't have anything to do with your athletic ability. My question has to do with the term first set of shots.
Okay, well, that's what I thought you meant.
Okay, so let's level set. We know that there are 2 volleys of shots. There is, just depending on which group of accountings, there's either 2 or 3 people shooting rounds in the air at the nursing home. Can we call that the first round of shots?
No, sir. That's not what I was talking about when I said first round of shots.
So did the officer shoot more than one time, more than one volley, a set of shots here, and then another set of shots?
I'm sorry, can you elaborate on that? Because I'm not sure what you mean.
You said first round of shots. If you use the word first, that would mean there's probably a second or third. Did you agree with
Yes, sir.
that? And you use the word plural for shots.
Yes, sir.
That usually means more than one, correct?
Yes, sir.
So how many volleys or rounds of shots did you hear the officer shoot?
2.
2 rounds of shots.
Yes, sir.
How much distance in time, if you can recall, was there between the first round of shots and the second round of shots?
Seconds or less.
What do you mean by seconds or less?
It was a small amount of time.
So was it pop, pop, pause, pause, pop, pop, pop?
No, sir, I wouldn't say that. I'd say pop, pop, pause, pop, pop, pop.
But you think there was a pause in there for a while, is that correct?
Not for a while, for a small amount of time.
Were you outside when the Bank Brothers were shooting in the air?
Yes, sir.
Where were you when you were outside when the Bank Brothers were shooting in the air?
I was at the stop sign of Barron Drive.
And were you able to recognize those individuals?
No, sir,
How did you know they were the Bank Brothers across the street?
because they screamed it out loud.
Do you know that those projectiles have been tied back to murder cases in Dallas back from 2016?
No, sir.
Under what rule?
It's a rule.
All right, objection sustained.
Have you been interviewed by anybody other than First Assistant Snipes or Mr. Garrison from law enforcement since May 31st, 2018?
I'm not sure.
Well, has anybody else come to your house or your school or your place of employment with a badge and asked you any other questions without going into what they asked you? Have you been interviewed by anybody else with a law enforcement badge since May?
No, sir, I do not believe so.
You mentioned on your direct with First Assistant Snipes that the officer that was running up raised his long gun, his rifle up. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you happen to notice that he raised his rifle up after his partner that was in front of him had taken his sidearm out of his holster and had pointed at the car after the commands to stop or not adhere to?
No, sir.
Did you hear those commands?
No, sir.
On May 31st, 2018, you had an opportunity to listen to those commands as many times as you wanted on the body-worn cameras on Investigator Garrison's laptop, correct?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt that those commands were said then after you watched that?
No, sir.
You just didn't hear them?
No, sir.
Were there people running from the nursing home area? Teenagers, peers of yours?
No, sir.
If I can finish my question. Peers of yours running after the bank brothers started opening fire?
No, sir, not from the nursing home.
Did anybody run from Shepherd back toward Ambassador in the direction you were coming back from the nursing home? Were there any other people in the way between where the party was and Shepherd?
I'm sorry, where is Shepherd?
Shepherd's the street you would have to cross to get to the nursing home where the bank brothers were shooting the guns in the air.
No, sir, I didn't see anyone running across there.
So if we were to look at the videos, there's no peers of yours, nobody else between the time that you said you saw yourself on the side of the road on the video with Officer or Investigator Harrison to Shepherd, there's nobody there.
I'm sorry, sir, I can't tell you that. I can't answer that question because I don't know.
Do you recall anybody else out there that night?
Yes, sir, I recall other people there. I don't recall people running from where you just explained.
Had the kids been walking that direction to get back to vehicles after the police had cleared the party out?
Yes, sir.
Had they been able, in your opinion, to successfully get away before the bank brothers opened fire?
I'm not sure, sir.
Did you hear anybody, did you have any impression that anybody was screaming that there were shots fired and running back toward the party?
No, sir, I heard people screaming that there were shots fired. There was people on the street that I was on, and yes, they were running back towards the party. But the Shepherd, I didn't see anyone there. I can't recall that.
Okay, so the people you saw were running back on Barron then, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the only two people then that you saw going forward toward the bank brothers were the police officers, is that correct?
I don't recall that, sir.
You remember one, the officer with the long gun, he was going to stand between all the kids that were running back from that area and the bank brothers, is that correct?
Yes, sir, but the bank brothers were gone by the time the police got there.
Did you stop the officer as he went past you? Because Officer Gross and Officer Oliver had to pass your position. Did you holler out, they just left in that vehicle?
No, sir, I did not.
And did any mistaking these officers in their uniform that night?
No, sir.
Clearly defined uniform, very easy to spot and recognize, correct?
Yes, sir.
And all you had to say is, they went that way, just like they do on the movies, right?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't.
You're right.
Thank
I
you.
didn't.
Thank you. Pass the witness.
May this witness be finally excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. Ma'am, you may stand down. Please be careful on your way down. You're excused from any further testimony in this matter.
Call the Laundry Henderson.
Members of the jury, we'll take an afternoon break, so please be back in the jury room in 15 minutes. All rise for the jurors.